Hey everybody, welcome to Channeling Eric. By now, you know that we're trying out a new format, and today I am Veronica Drake. Well, tomorrow I'll be her too, but you can learn more about me at veronicadrake.com. And when you're over there, get my free resources. One of them is my free quiz on you finding out what your guiding element is: earth,
Mm.
air, fire, or water. And today I have the lovely Courtney Dillon with me.
Thank you. And I'm Courtney Dillon tomorrow as well. So I'm excited to be here today. Thank you. And you can also go on my website and sign up for my newsletter. And there's some free classes on there that you can download as well.
Beautiful. So Courtney and I are going to do what we do best. We're going to be the mediums of the day. And what we like to do is I play host today. I read the questions, but it's really hard to stop things from coming in, even because Courtney's the channeler doesn't mean I won't be chiming in. So we like to play with each other.
Co-channeling, right?
Right? So we like to
Let's be honest.
so yeah. So today I'm excited because we have a very, very prominent figure in female history, and her name is Joan of Arc. And I'm just going to read a little bit about Joan of Arc as we get kicked off here, so we have a little bit of a background. She is a patron saint of France, honored as a defender of the French nation for her role in the siege of Orleans and her insistence on the coronation of Charles of France during the Hundred Years' War. Claiming to be acting under divine guidance, I think she was, she
Mhm.
became a military leader who transcended gender roles and gained recognition as the savior of France.
Mm.
Courtney, I don't know about you, but
I'm excited to talk to her today.
I love this woman.
Me
And
too.
so, Courtney, if you wouldn't mind just calling in. Oh, and Eric's like, hi, hi.
I know, I can feel him right over here.
Hi,
Yeah, he's
Eric.
on my left.
Courtney,
So
would you mind getting Joan for us
he's gonna
connected?
bring her in. Oh, she's right here. Hmm.
So, Joan, Miss Ark, are you open to some questions for us today? All right.
She says, yes, thank you. Thank you.
Mhm. So the first question is, people are curious about what did you look like physically? That's an interesting first question.
Hmm.
But okay, what did you
She's
look
a
like?
little bit surprised by that first question. I feel this sort of like,
Yeah.
um, she says that she would, in today's terms, you would describe me as androgynous. Androgynous. Um, she's showing me that she straddles the line between masculine and feminine, and she would identify even now if she were, walking around as an androgynous being. That she was in a female form, but she really actually felt in some ways more masculine in her, in the way she presented herself and her appearance. And so that's interesting.
She's also telling me that she is representative of the energy that's coming in to lead the ascension. So the androgynous
Mm,
really just makes sense,
mm,
balanced masculine and feminine.
mm-hmm,
Um,
mm,
says that the way that she would show me, the way she showed up for me
mm-hmm.
is very kind of on the smaller side,
She looks compact. I agree.
right?
Yeah, but
Not,
muscular, very
yeah.
muscular. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's kind of like smaller.
Mhm.
Hmm.
But she says that she carried a mission 100 times bigger than she was. And the point of that is, she says that when the mission is that powerful, everything else is irrelevant, the physicality.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
So thank you for that, Joan. That's an inspiration to all of us women. So the second question is, what personality type were you? Would you call yourself sassy, directive, inspiring, funny?
Um, no, none of those. In some ways, focused, reserved. She says I was on a mission. I could be funny. She could be a little irreverent at times, like off the cuff humor. But I don't think she's known for that. She's focused. She's on a mission. She's ready. She comes on the planet, she says, to fulfill this mission. And she knows from a very young age that that is her divine calling. So it's like a single pointed focus is what she calls it.
Love that. She's standing in front of me in the Wonder Woman stance where she hands on her hips. And the word that came to my mind when I looked at her is fierce. Like she is a force to be reckoned with. She's also telling me she had undeniable, unshakable faith. Not to be misunderstood, any of that, with the fact that that she liked flowers. That there was a tender side to her. She also knew that anyone that met her understood that she unapologetically lived her truth. And if that
Absolutely.
didn't bode well with you or you had a different opinion of truth, she would let it in, but she was on a mission.
She teaches us today, in this moment in our history, that we have come to the planet to live our own personal truth. That we are here to be unapologetically ourselves. That we are to listen to the voice of God within ourselves and to act in this manner as God instructed me and instructs you. For this is a great time of change. This is a great time of awakening. And each of you is here to fulfill a divine mission laid out for you by God.
Gosh, I love that. She says that conviction was her platform. Conviction in truth was what made her keep going. And there was never a possibility that what she believed wouldn't come to fruition. Erik pitches in here. She was the epitome of the law of attraction, of manifesting. She saw the vision, she held it tight, Erik says, and she manifested. What personality trait made the others follow you?
Fierce conviction and perseverance. Fierce conviction and perseverance are two traits. And also, she's saying a sense of divine justice. She knew and knows even now. She's come here today because this is an important time on the planet. And she knew in that time that it was also an important time for her people. And she was so fiercely committed to the path before her, even though it was difficult. And she hopes, it is her intention, that the people listening to this transmission will respond to her energy and feel her energy coming through in this moment, because this perseverance is required for the times ahead. This perseverance and commitment to the light and commitment to your own divine will is required for the difficulty that we face on the planet, for the many challenges that we face. And she also refers to the people listening to this podcast and ourselves, I think, V, that we are warriors of the light. And it's important to remember this because there is, in fact, a spiritual war happening. And it is important to remember that our lives matter. And it is important to remember that our choices matter and our perseverance.
And she also says that you will find parallels to the life that she lived during the times that she lived and the battles that she fought. You will find parallel in this lifetime as well, because everything is a circle. Everything goes in a circle. And so if you look for the familiarities in what I experienced, you'll be armed with truth and strength, she says.
It's interesting when she shows me that circle that you're talking about, she brings me on the top of it and I'm looking down and it's golden and it's like a spiral. And so what she's showing me is that what we experience as time and the parallels that you're referring to, or she's referring to, are, if we look at it from, like sort of the top down perspective, it's a spiral and we're hitting a similar juncture or similar place on the spiral of time. And that's why we will experience some of the same themes on the planet, but it's more of a collective, like planetary experience. And she experienced those themes within her own country.
It makes sense that people that have experienced what you're now going through would show up so prominently, she says. One of the traits that people really felt confident around was her unwavering certainty in her commitment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
the other thing she says, I didn't have a need to be liked by anyone. It wasn't about that because I was so driven by divine clarity.
Yeah, that's a huge lesson.
Yeah. The next question is, what factors enabled you to rise above your social class and challenge established power structures?
She says, my commitment to God is more powerful than any power, it's like she kind of power structure. I saw myself as a vessel of the divine, and felt my mission within me stirring so strongly that I did not consider my place as a mere peasant. I knew what I came here to do. And because of this, and because of knowledge, divine knowledge in my mission, I saw each person as an equal. I did not see myself and never considered myself less than. I knew of my support, of my angelic guidance, and I acted on this guidance, for there was no other choice in my mind. There was no other option.
Call me obedient, obedient to the Creator, not to man. You cannot miss the mark when you are serving the divine. There is nothing on the earthly plane that can stop you. It may detour you, and it may reroute you, but it will never stop you. And again, I reiterate perseverance.
You who are listening today are being called. You who are listening are called by something greater than yourselves, by something greater than this notion of you being a human. Listen to this stirring within. For I am no better than you, and in truth, I am no different than you. I listened and served. I was and am obedient to the light and to the will of God. And you too can listen and serve. You too will be obedient to the will of God if you have courage and if you persevere. For courage and perseverance is required in these times. I speak to you with the knowledge that these times ahead are not easy. It will feel dark on the planet, and it already does. But those who came to live in truth and to bring light, to illuminate the darkness, cannot be stopped. Hear me when I say, you cannot be stopped. For the light within you is far greater than any darkness.
Don't be put off by the magnitude of my mission, but rather be focused on the message that is the true miracle. So the next question is, did you love someone?
I love God, and God is love. As I devoted my life to God and my true calling, I could see all of my fellow man as an expression of God. I did not have love in the way that is being asked in this question. That was not part of my contract at that time, but I experienced great love. Love of God and my fellow man.
She says to me, think about the way a nun, devout, loving, and giving to the all. She says, I too followed in that footsteps. I didn't wear that label, but I was obedient in every step of the way. I was the warrior. I was always driven by my love of the divine. I loved France. I loved my purpose. And there was no room for me to have any kind of emotional or physical attachments to man in this lifetime. And it wasn't something I missed. Erik says to just highlight that point with, she didn't need a man. All right, Erik.
Thanks, Erik.
Sorry, Erik. Okay. What was your spiritual contract?
She says that she came in to liberate the people of France, but my larger contract, for it was much larger than this external battle, was to teach people the power of perseverance, to teach people the power of listening deeply within and following that true calling that is above any noise in the world, and to do it with such devotion and obedience, and to know there is no other option. To be of the world, to be, excuse me, to be in the world, but not of it. To teach people that they too are an emanation of the divine. This is ultimately my mission.
Beautiful. She keeps talking about the word catalyst. She's
Mm.
a catalyst for change, a catalyst for conquering, for the image she shows me to reference it is the man on the moon, the first
I see. I saw the stake
put
too. Yeah.
flag on the moon. She said it was an honor to carry that. And I will always be known as the woman who carried the flame, the torch that passed it on to other women. I will always be a reference point in history for that. Love that. The next question is, was cutting your hair and wearing men's clothing practical or identity based?
For her, she's showing me, she's saying that those choices were part of my identity, but not in an egoic way. It was because she's saying she didn't want the focus in any way to be on her physicality. It wasn't part of what was important about her. She identifies as more of an androgynous being. And so that is the practical aspect of cutting her hair. But the other part of it is that she doesn't want there to be a focus on her physical appearance.
She also adds, think of it in context of the time.
Mm.
And yes, they would have not taken me seriously had I been frilly.
Mm.
But also I would not have been safe to carry out the mission.
Mm. Yeah,
And
that's what it
so
feels like.
practical part of it was also about safety, she says. And again, she's referring to the context of the time. There was an authoritative voice from the males,
Mhm.
more so than female voices. And she said on some level that still exists in this current day and time. But she says the war that we're fighting is more than equality. It's more than women's rights. It's about human rights in this war. It's almost like we've bypassed the female women's rights and we've gone right to the equality of the humans' rights. Oh, I have chills with that.
I do too.
What was, in your opinion, what was embellished in your story?
Feel like much, actually.
Um,
Not
she,
a,
oh,
oh, go ahead. Did you get something?
yeah, she is telling me that the divine whispers and it
Mm-hmm.
didn't hit her over the head. And it wasn't like a large screaming, this is what you do, and the reverberation. It was subtle, and I had to be able to hear the whisper.
She's telling you that because she wants me to add on that the whisper that we hear of the divine will often feel like a subtle nudge or a subtle voice. You know, she's saying that many of us are waiting for something to sort of hit us over the head or, you know, be so strong. But it's important to take time to become quiet and to hear this subtle whispering. She says it gets louder as you learn to listen.
Um,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Were you going to say more? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
She also says that you, in your own right, are fighting your own battle, and you cannot do it alone. And she's encouraging that you really, if you're listening to this recording, that you are given tools to help you navigate the challenge that you are currently facing. She says not to get wrapped up in your human challenges, because what I did was for the advancement of the collective. You must be focused on the advancement of humanity, not the individual self. Yes, the individual self, as it evolves, will advance the collective. She wants us to reverse our thinking, Erik says. Think collective first and watch it trickle down.
I came to serve. I came to remind others of service to the whole, of service to the divine. Each of you is being called to serve in his or her own way. A simple act of kindness is service. A smile to a stranger is service. No act of service is too small. For those who listen and think, what do I have to offer? I respond with this: no act of service is too small. For each act of service serves the whole. Each small act, loving your child, loving your family, offering your neighbor assistance, serves the whole. It is important to listen to my words and understand that though I had and have a big mission to serve the planet and still do, I see no other person's, no other soul's mission as less than mine. If your act of service is to be a mother, for example, fully embody this role, fully love your children, offer them guidance and teaching, and know that your act of service serves the world.
Wow. Was your condemnation purely political, or were there deeper religious and social motivations at play?
She's again talking about the times that she was living in and talking about how her condemnation was both political and part of a larger hunt for people, like almost like a witch hunt. And so I guess the answer she's saying is both. But she knew coming into the planet that this was going to be the result. She knew that, deeply knew that this the ways she left was part of her contract. And so she faced this condemnation unafraid, knowing that she would leave the planet, but remain in spirit, and that she came to fulfill her mission and she accomplished her goal.
She says, imagine for 1 second. Oh, I know you can, she says, telling people that God speaks to you. Put it in the context of the time, put it in the context of me being female, and look at what my life could have been as it turned out. Beautiful. Did you lie to the priest to avoid the stake?
No. No, she did not lie.
She said, I would never, and she has her hand like this.
Yeah, it's like, no.
Never betray my truth or my God. Oh, I love that. The next question, did you stay true to hearing the word of God? I think she just.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Are there undiscovered documents or eyewitness accounts? It just ends there. I don't know accounts.
Of her death, or she's maybe
It just is off there. Let's see if she can help us explain.
okay. Are there
Undiscovered.
undiscovered documents or eyewitness accounts? She says, like other truths that are emerging now, more of the pieces of my story will be revealed over time. This is not all at once, but the answer is yes. There is more that will be revealed over time. But that in some ways is not important, because the essence of my message is the same and will remain the same for those who have ears to hear. I come here to teach you to listen to your own divine guidance, to turn away from the noise of the world, and to follow through what you are being asked to do with courage and grace. This is the essence of my message. This is the essence of my truth. And so the details of my life, though interesting, are not as important as the message, for I remind you of your essence and your truth. Well, it looks like Veronica's video froze, so I think we're going to have to end part one there, and we will, oh wait, she's back,
Okay.
Okay, you're back. Hi.
Sorry, I do need to work on that, but
That's okay.
so the question was,
I answered the question. I don't know. And I said maybe we would have to end there. I didn't know. So,
okay, so we'll go on to the next question.
okay, perfect. All
Was
right.
there a full and complete answer there?
There was,
Okay.
yes.
Did you have a protective shield during this battle?
She's showing me a literal shield. Yes, she does have a shield, but she's saying her shield is God.
I heard energetic and
Yes.
So,
Yes, yes.
um, did God talk to you in dreams or daily thoughts?
She says both.
Yeah. She got a lot of signs and symbols.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One thing that she's circling me back to is that she wants everyone to know you will know the truth, whether it be the big truth or your own personal truth, by its vibration in your own body.
Mm,
So,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah. It's like when we talk about, she wants me to say this, when we talk about the chills that we both receive sometimes, we're talking about a truth that lands.
yes.
Right.
Yep,
Right.
yep. And you'll know it, she says. There's no need to overthink it. A relationship with God is simple. When you start to bring your mind into it, it gets complicated and there's room for misinterpretation. Thank you. Um, how, oh, wait, no. Okay, who were your spirit guides?
She's showing me a group of angels.
Yeah, I see angelic presence
Yeah, I
also.
do. Warrior angels,
Mhm.
the Legion of Light.
Yeah. Was it your highest self leading you into battle? Excuse me, let me start that. Was it your highest self leading you into battle?
Yes. Yes.
It was my God self.
Yes.
That's very cool. How do you know a loving God led you to kill? Hmm.
From one perspective, my guidance to defend may not be understood. From another perspective, I came to defend the honor of my people. I came to bring divine justice to my country. And as a result, others, she's showing me like a contract. This is interesting. She's showing me like a contract she has with certain people to be in battle with them, actually. Like this was all part of the plan. This was all part of the divine plan. And she listened and followed that plan. She knew she had access to that plan through visions and guidance. And some people died as a result, but it was part of the divine plan.
I love that. So, Courtney, let's end part one right there.
Okay.
And I look forward to coming back with my friend Courtney and part two. So don't forget, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel, like the channel, do your thing, pass it around. And Courtney,
That was a
I'll
lot of
see
fun. Thank
you
you.
in part two.
Absolutely. Bye. Thank you.